Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of King of the Hill, I want to talk about General Ivan of the Bear Cavalry. General Ivan is a 6-powered minion with one of the most straightforward abilities in Smash Up, the ongoing ability that your minions cannot be destroyed. It's as simple as that. None of your minions can be destroyed by you, by players, not by bases, or anything. All minions are globally protected, not just the ones on the base. I'll talk briefly about what General Ivan means to the Bear Cavalry before moving on to the main goal of this video, which is to discuss the implications of this ability. What partner factions benefit heavily from the ability, and more important, what partner factions are harmed. If you're not careful, you might find out that some synergies aren't as good as you think. Sometimes in describing the game, I will talk about the King Minion test. There should always be one card in a faction that by itself clearly communicates what the faction does holistically. Sometimes factions have 2 strategies, which is fine, as long as the card conveys at least one of them. Usually, this is the King Minion, but General Ivan fails that test on the surface. And yet General Ivan is so intrinsic to the Bear Cavalry because in Soviet Russia, Bear destroys you. If a Cub Scout is in play, I'm definitely going to Seeing Stars that nuisance immediately. It's almost ironic. General Ivan prevents destruction so that your destruction can continue. I've always felt that Smash Up should have an exception for every powerful situation. If you think about a science fiction film, how do you take down impenetrable shields? You take out the generator. In this case, the generator is inside the shield itself, which doesn't seem fair. Maybe General Ivan should have said your other minions cannot be destroyed, so that if you take him out, everyone else is fair game, and it'd be really hard to take him out at 6 power. So when I see him, I might unleash my Omega Protocol and do whatever I can to get him to the discard pile. It's a good thing that the Bear Cavalry has no card draw, making it harder to get to him. In March Smashness, General Ivan completely shut down the ninjas, and it was only because of No Moon that the Astronite ninjas had a chance. From a base perspective, General Ivan has both positive and negative effects. Base destruction has existed in Smash Up as early as the Ninja Dojo and can be frequent on bases such as the Deep of the Sharks. Big in Japan introduced Q Point, which destroys all minions and actions but one card. General Ivan would spare all minions, allowing you to keep an action played there as your intended surviving card. These examples are relevant because most of the destruction immunity applies to other players' minions, actions, or cards, and bases were the exception that got around the immunity. General Ivan does not have this problem. As a consequence, several VP farming bases such as Ryla or Cave of Shinies will not produce benefits, as well as half a Field of Honor. You can't have your cake and eat it too, it seems. So what about factions that benefit from General Ivan? Most of these are created by the careful placement of a punctuation symbol, the period. The first pairing was released in the same expansion, and that's the Killer Plants. Killer Plants used to be one of my favorite factions, but they are constantly minion starved because the Sprouts survive at most 1 turn. Their destruction is obligatory because there is no May, but at least you get a minion of power 3 or less. Most factions only have 3 minions of power 3, and there are 4 Sprouts, so it's possible that your Sprout may die without having anyone to retrieve, making them useless. However, General Ivan fixes this because of the period in between abilities. A lot of newer players tend to get this wrong, but what they don't realize is that the way that this is worded, the destruction is not actually linked to what happens after because of the period. Sprout says to destroy this minion at the start of your turn. Check. Minion is targeted for destruction, but it survives because of General Ivan. As a result, Sprout can continue to fetch 3-powered minions while still supplying power. When you are out of minions, it can be used as a normal 2-powered minion, which you could not do originally. The Killer Plants have the card draw and deck thinning abilities to get to General Ivan sooner rather than later, which allows General Ivan to produce great value, especially after the deck is exhausted and replenished. Even better, the Bear Cavalry has extra 3-powered minions. Minions of Cthulhu also benefit. The Minions of Cthulhu have only 8 total minions in their faction, and 4 of them have optional self-destruction to place actions on top of your deck. But General Ivan would allow the Servitors of Cthulhu to survive the destruction and still get the action back, and the Minions of Cthulhu have powerful actions at their disposal, including the Seal is Broken, which lets you gain 1 VP at the cost of half a VP in the form of a Madness card. Imagine playing your pretty much borscht every turn to ram everyone into high ground. Given that the Servitor of Cthulhu also exists in the All-Stars, I really like the option of replaying the same All-Star action Imagine leading off every turn with a ghostly arrival. Body Shop of the Mad Scientist becomes an extremely powerful card, giving 6 power counters to the minions of your choice, even General Ivan. You don't even have to wait for Uber Serum in this case. Shapeshifters also have the extra minion plays to benefit from destruction prevention, and the Mimics do love General Ivan's printed power. There are other examples of self-destructive factions that would benefit, but what about those who suffer? A faction that can go either way is the Kitty Cats. The Kitty Cats accept destruction for card draw and additional action plays, but part of their strategies is to use other players' minions to do it. Muffin can take control of a minion, which can conveniently be destroyed for benefits, but this strategy would no longer work. The Kitty Cats would still work, just not as effectively since you lose the bonus of removing opponent minions off the board because they'd be yours at that point. As a result, Muffin will become a base-breaking swing card instead of a mid-game card, and there are ways to make that work. So General Ivan isn't as drastic to the Kitty Cats as he is to the superheroes, the final entry for today. Whereas a period really helped out the Sprouts, the word 2 really hurts the superheroes because it completely disables the mild-mannered citizen abilities. The flaw with the mild-mannered citizen is that they are easy targets for destruction, but using 1 to get General Ivan solves that. In fact, it introduces a different problem. They cannot destroy themselves either. This is why Awesome Guy is worded as such, to prevent destruction from other players. This combination slows the superheroes down to a grinding halt and makes them like the princesses with fewer, less versatile power 5s. Don't use this combination. I've tried it, and it was just very frustrating. Overall, General Ivan's ability is very powerful, and it almost doesn't seem fair that he gets above average power for a king minion. He protects those annoying Cub Scouts from being destroyed so that they can do the destroying, and the Bear Cavalry's success is tied intrinsically to using him as an engine card. At the same time, the game has slightly evolved away from destruction as there is more of an emphasis on shuffling with vigilantes, and Culture Shock will revisit placing, something that I've been advocating for a while since both of those concepts were underutilized. While he may not provide immunity to everyone, destruction is still the primary means of disposal, and that provides value. Don't use him as part of a big drop, it's such a waste. Definitely consider taking the Bear Cavalry as a counter against destruction-based factions. What do you think of General Ivan? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.